In the heart of a rainforest that never forgets, one woman and her loyal dog walk the line between science and the wild. When the skies collapse and the river turns to rage, a tiny cry shatters the silence. A baby gorilla trapped between life and death. No rescue plan, no time, only instinct. What happens next will test the limits of courage and reveal that sometimes the deepest intelligence doesn't speak in words, it beats in the heart. This is not just a rescue story. It's a moment when nature itself decides who truly belongs. The forest woke slowly, heavy with mist and sound. Birds trilled, insects hummed, and the river whispered somewhere below. Layla Okoro, a quiet wildlife researcher, walked carefully along the jungle trail. Her loyal dog, Kite, lean and golden brown, padded beside her, silent, alert, and fiercely devoted. They had lived here for months, studying a small gorilla troop led by a massive silverback named Kondo. That morning felt different. The air was thick and restless. Layla stopped, listening. The forest had gone still. Musa, the ranger walking ahead, frowned. "Something's wrong," he said softly. "The river sounds heavier." They reached the ridge overlooking the valley and froze. Overnight rain had turned the calm stream into a swollen, raging torrent. Muddy water tore through trees and rocks, devouring the banks. Through her binoculars, Layla saw Kondo's troop clustered high above the flood, except for one. The baby gorilla, Sifu, was trapped near the bank, clinging to a root that was already breaking apart. His small body was half submerged, fighting the current. "Oh no," Layla whispered. The infant cried, a thin, terrified sound that sliced through the storm. Kondo roared from the other side but couldn't reach him. Layla dropped her pack and moved down the slope. "Musa, rope! I'll cross diagonally." "You step wrong, you drown," he warned. But she was already in the water, icy current biting her legs. She tossed the throw bag toward Seifu, the orange rope dancing in the spray. It struck close. "Grab it, little one," he tried, then slipped. Before she could think, a blur of movement flashed past her. Kite. "Kite! No!" The dog plunged into the current, swimming with fierce precision, cutting through the water rather than against it. His body angled perfectly, his eyes locked on the baby. Within seconds, he reached Seifu and offered his back. The infant clung instinctively to the wet fur as Kite turned toward shore. "Come on, boy! Come on!" Layla urged, fighting her own balance as she pulled the rope taut. The current shoved them both sideways, but Kite's determination held. Step by step, they gained ground, until Musa's hands gripped Layla's shoulder and helped them collapse onto solid earth. Seifu trembled in the mud, alive. Kite lay beside him, chest heaving. Then a shadow moved through the rain. Kondo emerged, enormous, silent. He stared at his rescued child, then at the woman and the dog who had risked their lives. Layla raised her hands slowly. "He's safe. We meant no harm." For a tense moment, the air stood still. Then Kondo thumped his chest once, not in anger, but in respect. And just like that, he turned, cradled Sifu, and disappeared into the forest's green silence. Layla knelt beside Kite, whispering through tears, "You're a hero, my brave boy." The river kept roaring, but somewhere above it, the forest seemed to breathe again. The sky cracked open. Rain poured down in silver sheets, blurring the world into motion. The calm jungle had become a battlefield of wind and water. Layla stood frozen at the edge of the riverbank, breath ragged. The once gentle stream now raged like a living monster, swallowing trees and rocks. And in the chaos, a sound rose, a terrified cry. Her eyes darted across the current. There, a small, dark figure clinging to a vine. Seifu, the baby gorilla. His tiny hands gripped desperately as the water tore at him. Layla's heart lurched. No! 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 She stumbled closer, shouting over the storm. Hold on, baby! Hold on. Beside her, Kite barked once, sharp, urgent, his golden fur plastered to his sides. Stay, boy! She cried. But his eyes were locked on the river. The vine snapped. Seifu vanished beneath the waves. Layla screamed. And in that same instant, Kite leapt. The splash thundered louder than the storm. Layla ran to the edge, eyes wide with horror. Kite! The retriever fought the torrent, swimming with steady, powerful strokes. Through rain and foam, his head broke the surface, and there, clinging to his back, was the tiny gorilla. Oh, God! Layla whispered, tears lost in the rain. He found him. Kite turned diagonally, letting the current carry him closer to the bank. Layla waded waist-deep into the flood, throwing out her arm. Come on, boy! Come to me! A massive branch struck Kite's side, spinning him under. Layla's scream ripped through the rain. No! Seconds stretched into eternity, until golden fur broke the surface again. He was still swimming, still fighting, still holding the baby above water. Layla plunged deeper, grabbing the rope tied around her waist. Kite! This way! She cried. The dog's paw brushed her arm. She caught his collar, pulled with all her strength. Mud, water, pain. Then, finally, solid ground. The three collapsed on the riverbank, trembling, gasping for air. Seifu whimpered softly, clutching Kite's soaked fur. Layla cradled them both, voice breaking. You did it,
Pull him up.
my brave boy.
Harder.
The rain slowed, and from the mist came a low, thunderous growl. Layla looked up and froze. A massive figure stepped from the trees. Kondo, the silverback. He approached slowly, each step heavy with power and purpose. Layla's hands trembled as she whispered, He's safe. Your baby's safe. Kondo's gaze passed from her to Kite, to the trembling infant. Then the giant lowered himself, extended one arm. Seifu reached out, clinging to his father's chest. For a heartbeat, Kondo looked at Layla. Rain dripped from his silver fur, his deep eyes filled with something ancient. Not rage, but recognition. He struck his chest once, soft, resonant, a gesture of respect, then turned, carrying his child into the jungle mist. Layla exhaled, the tension melting into tears. She knelt beside Kite, brushing the mud from his face. You're a hero, she whispered. You saved him and me. The storm faded.
Lila,
Sunlight broke through the trees,
You're safe.
golden and gentle. And for the first time,
Musa,
the river sounded calm
you
again,
find us.
as if it, too, remembered. The storm was over. The jungle breathed again, soft, wet, alive. The river that once raged now whispered like it was ashamed of its anger. Layla knelt beside Kite, brushing her hand over his soaked golden fur. You did it, my brave boy, she whispered. His tail thumped weakly in the mud, eyes gentle. Beside them,
okay, Kite.
Seifu shivered but alive, small hands clutching the earth. Then,
Safe.
from the mist, a shape moved. The mother gorilla. Huge, silent, powerful. She stepped closer, eyes fixed on her child. Layla held her breath. Slowly, she lowered her hands. No fear, only respect. Seifu turned at the sound of his mother's deep, trembling call. He stumbled forward and fell into her arms. The mother clutched him tight, her breath heavy with relief. And then, from the trees behind, Kondo appeared. The silverback paused, rain glinting off his silver fur. He looked at Layla, at Kite, and then at his family. A long silence, then one slow beat of his chest, not of dominance, but gratitude. Layla smiled through tears. The jungle exhaled. Sunlight broke through the leaves, soft and gold. Kondo turned, carrying his family back into the mist. Layla whispered, "Thank you." Kite leaned against her knee. The river flowed gently beside them. Calm, forgiving, eternal. Sometimes the wild doesn't need words. It remembers hearts that are kind. Thank you for watching Animal Bloom, the river that remembers. Please like, share, and follow to keep these stories of courage and compassion alive.
You're my best friend, Kite. I love spending these quiet moments with you.